So basically the goal of our brand, what we're trying to do is we're trying to automate the entire sales process for people. And it's never been easier before because automation tools and softwares and artificial intelligence makes it easier for anybody to automate every part of their business. But the goal for everybody is to be able to automate their sales. If they can automate their sales faster, cheaper, better than anybody else, that means they can grow faster. Because if the biggest problem for every business owner, right? Because it all started with like us wanting to solve problems. We want to solve problems, and the bigger the problems, the more money you make. You get paid in direct proportion to the difficulty of the problems that you're able to solve. And the biggest problem for every business owner is more clients, being able to get more business easier, better, faster, cheaper than whatever current system or process they currently have going on. So if you analyze the sales process, it's pretty much the same across the board. So first you have 25% of it is made up from getting attention. So you need to go out, you need to get attention in the marketplace. Then you need to capture leads, right? You get business cards. So in other words, you get attention by going to like B&I events and like networking groups and all that. Then you capture their lead information. Then you spend about 25% of your time probably following up with those leads, organizing them on your CRM and setting up those appointments. And then you spend another 25% of the time actually sitting down with prospects and closing deals. So if you think about it, the goal of these processes, like these 4 steps, is to be able to do less and get more of each of these, right? So for example, for gaining attention, you want to be able to get more attention with doing less work. So for example, if you go door to door, that's not really productive, right? You're not getting a lot of output for your input. You're going door to door, you can maybe knock on 50 to 100 doors a day. If there's other ways to get more attention, that's going to be more beneficial, right? Then generating leads. You want to find out how to get more leads with less work. Setting up appointments, get more appointments with less work. And then closing more deals with less work. That's the goal, right? So then this is pretty much the way it's been. These are some of the available options, I guess, or some of the ways that people go into business. And the very traditional route is the route that most people take, which is you go out and you get attention. Let's say, again, the same example that we just expressed. You go out, you go door to door, you grab business cards, and you spend another 25% of your time setting up appointments. Then you spend the rest of your time closing those deals. And then let's say, as an example, because what I want to do in this slide is just share the importance of being able to automate this entire process, because it all translates to more revenue, more money going back into your business, going back into your personal accounts. So let's say if you are selling a product where you can make $1,000 for every deal that you bring on board. At this point, let's say you're having a traditional sales process where you're doing everything yourself and you're spending 25% of your time closing deals. Here's what happens. You only really make money on the closing deals part, right? If you go back to these examples, you only make money in that 25%. So if that's the case, then you're spending 25% of your time. Let's say you're selling a product that makes $1,000. At the end of the year, let's say you make $100K a year because you're able to close 100 deals. Now, if you take a different approach, let's say you start generating content, for example. Content is the same thing as getting attention. Content is the same thing as going to B&I groups and networking events, right? You start getting attention to how you help people and how you're able to solve their problems. So now you're spending 33% of your time doing the other 3 tasks of generating sales. Instead of spending time gaining attention, now all you have to do is generate leads. In other words, if you post content, you need to spend time capturing that information, like having conversations and asking for their phone number or email. Then you spend the rest of your time either setting up appointments or closing deals. But now if you're dividing your time up by 33% instead of 25% each, that means you can close more deals. That means at the end of the year, you spent 33% of your time actually closing business. That means you generated 132 deals. That means your revenue went up by 32K. Now, let's say if you were able to use a lead generation system, which they've been around for years, right? In other words, you outsource a company, you pay them, and they will help you generate leads for you. Or if you're skilled, you can learn how to do it yourself by running paid advertising, by having some kind of additional process, which basically means the generating lead process means how do we generate leads without having to ask people for their phone numbers, right? So we automate the gaining attention part. And then what we do is we incorporate links on people's bios, for example. If you have a bio, you can put a link that has more information. And the information basically there is just how do we get more people to submit their info by creating a compelling enough story to want to get them to actually set up an appointment with you, right? So now if you do that, you can just wake up and have a bunch of leads in your system. All you got to do is spend 50% of your time setting up appointments and the other 50% of your time actually closing deals. Meaning if you're able to spend twice as much time doing what makes the actual money, which is closing business, instead of 50%, now instead of 25% of the time, 50% of your time, that means you're doubling the amount of deals. That means you're doubling the amount of revenue that you'll get at the end of the year. Now the next part, which this is a little bit more high level, and this is where a lot of people are currently at. Like the people that are really, really succeeding in business, like they're doing a lot of this right here, which is appointment setting. Like how do we automate the entire appointment setting process? And there's ways to do it. Like there's ways to do it online, but you need to really understand how to build marketing funnels, which a marketing funnel is basically you gain attention, you get people to click on a link and get them to submit their information on a landing page or a website, and then you get them to automatically book a call because maybe they got like an automated email or an automated message that gets them to want to book a call. Now you can wake up and you can spend 100% of your time closing deals. So instead of 25% of your time, you're spending 4 times the amount of time doing what actually brings in revenue, which is closing deals. Now you can sell 400 deals a year instead of 400,000, and instead of 100, now you're making 400K a year. What we have with Artificial Closers is we have a software that will basically do all of that for you. It'll actually go out and gain attention on social media. It has built-in landing pages and websites and lead forms where people submit their information into. Then it has an automated SMS integration and email integration where automatically, as soon as they submit the lead information, the software will go out and it'll chat with your prospect. And then the last piece is you still need to close, right? You need to be able to close deals, but here's what's happening. And a lot of people are doing this, right? A lot of people are using a lot of the same softwares and solutions that we're doing, which is basically using ChatGPT to create ads, using ChatGPT to create landing pages, using ChatGPT to create the automation and the workflows to get the software to actually chat with people and get them to want to book appointments, and then using ChatGPT to actually have high-level conversations with those prospects and get them to actually sign up on the spot, meaning you can spend 0% of your time and get an enormous amount of business, right? And a lot of people are doing this, and what that leads to is you get an infinity amount of deals because you're no longer trading your time for dollars. You're having an automated system that can do that for you, and that means you can make a lot of money, right? If you're making 400K with the previous level, if you're able to use a system like this, you can make a shit ton of money. So this is how it works, right? So you post an ad on social media, and it integrates with Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Google, YouTube, and basically when you create that ad, Artificial Closers, the software, has a built-in website builder where you can build a landing page, you can build a website, and what you're doing is you're creating a story. That's all it is. You're creating a customer journey where they see an ad, they see a landing page, and the objective for each of these steps is to be able to get them to click on the ads the most amount of times, submit their lead information the most amount of times, and then once they submit their lead, the lead goes straight into a built-in CRM that will automatically create an opportunity for you. It'll automatically assign it to somebody else, and then automatically it'll start chatting with those prospects because it has a built-in SMS and email automation service where the moment the lead comes in, it starts asking the questions that you would be asking, right? It starts talking on your behalf because you can train it on how to talk on your behalf. And then let's say by the end of the sales process, you still need to be able to fill up those contracts and get people to sign. It does all that for you, right? So it actually chats with the prospect and they can send them over to a product page to the point that I can actually close the deal for you. Now, granted, we're still in a phase where ChatGPT won't be closing all the deals for you, but this is in essence what it looks like. You know, you see an ad, you capture their lead, they click on the ad. So this is in essence the customer journey, sorry. Scratch that part. So the customer journey is this. They see an ad, They click on the link, it takes them to a website, they submit their information, meaning you capture the lead, and then it takes them over to a conversation, right? It can be an SMS or an email conversation that leads to them clicking on a link, that leads to them actually booking an appointment. And then over here, it's the last piece. You get to chat with them, or you can have ChatGPT chat with them. So we've incorporated ChatGPT into the software so it can actually start having conversations, but you still need to be there, right? You still need to be able to, document those conversations and make sure that they're in line with whatever it is that you're offering. So this is where we're at right now, right? Because all this matters. Like, the only reason I share this is because it means a lot to a lot of people, and I want to share exactly what it means to each individual, right? So for employees, it means that now's your chance, right? Because the hardest part of business, every employee wants to eventually be an entrepreneur. I believe that. I believe every employee wants to have an automated service or system that gets them money without them having to trade their time for money. And any employee that says the opposite, have them talk to me. I want to find out why. I'm really curious, right? So employees, now's their chance to start a business, because all you really need is a product or a service. And I'll talk to you in the next slide, where if you have a product or a service and you use a system like ours, that means you can get automatic sales. So if you're a sales employee, for example, and you already know how to sell, all you need to do is sit in front of the camera and wait for the leads to come in and just talk and sell. Do what you do best, right? Now for solopreneurs, this gives solopreneurs a huge advantage. The biggest bottleneck for solopreneurs is that they try to do everything themselves. They're wearing a bunch of different hats, and it's hard for them to scale and grow their business because they can't automate their sales process. Think about this. They're stuck doing sales. They're stuck doing lead generation, getting attention, generating those leads, booking those appointments, and then actually closing those deals. And then they got to fulfill for the clients, right? So it's almost impossible. You're wearing a bunch of different hats. Now solopreneurs can literally just focus on helping clients instead of focusing on the sales process. So that's huge. And what does that mean to large corporations? It means there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of uncertainty. It means your clock is ticking, basically. Like, what's happening right now for big companies is that employees are having the option to start their business from one day to the next and actually start seeing results because the companies are artificial closers. Solopreneurs have an advantage where now they can start taking market share from these big companies, because now they can actually scale their business faster and they don't have to worry about being stuck in that 20K to 50K a month range, which a lot of solopreneurs are stuck into. And because of this, that's going to drive a lot more competition to the big companies, right? So here's what's happening. This is the approach that I believe people should take. If you're a big company, you got to focus on your loyalty. You got to focus on your brand. You got to focus on the story that you create for your consumers, and you always got to keep innovating and making your product better than anybody else. If you're a solopreneur, you got to learn how to use these systems to automate your business and start competing with these big companies. If you're an employee, you got to learn how to use these systems to build your own business. Now's your chance. It's really gotten easier. Anybody can start their own business. And the truth is, it's just where the market is headed. Right? In the future, more people are going to become freelancers, more employees are going to have their own business, and they're going to work for themselves, and a lot of big companies will suffer because it's going to be hard to retain employees in the future. So this is how it works. To start your own business, all you need is three things. You need to have a valuable offer, right? Something that actually provides value to others, and what makes it valuable is in congruency to how many other people are solving the same problem, in other words, competition, and how well you can package your offer in a way that makes you stand out over your competition. Now, the next thing is you need a valuable story. People buy from emotions. They buy from stories, right? They hear stories and it resonates with them and some of the problems that they have in their lives, and that's what makes them want to purchase. So you want to have the best story out there, because the best story is basically your branding, and your branding is basically your marketing, and whoever has the best marketing wins. Right? We're in a really different time where if everybody has access to ChatGPT, everybody has access to all these automation tools, then the only thing that's going to make you different is your offer and your story. And of course, you got to know how to close. Right? You need to learn how to sell. If you don't already know how to sell, that's fine. It's very easy to learn. So this is what we're doing. All right, so we're creating a community. We're making it very simple. It's a WhatsApp group chat, and we're going to teach people how to create a compelling offer. Right? So if you don't have a business, we start with the offer. We're going to teach people how to write a compelling story, how to use ChatGPT, how to write a compelling story. Sorry, scratch that part. how to write a compelling story that will get people to want to sit down with you. And the story, right? Because the goal of good marketing is to tell a good enough story to the point that the entire sales process is completely automated, meaning you don't even need to talk to people. Steve Jobs said that, by the way. He said the purpose of good marketing is to completely automate the sales process. Meaning, think about Apple, right? If you go to an Apple store, you don't have to get sold anything. There's no salespeople in Apple. It's just basically a bunch of people asking around like, hey, what do you want? What are you here for? Right? And nobody ever goes into Apple and walks out empty-handed. You go to Apple with a purpose. You go to Apple because you want to buy the product and you already made your decision. There's no shopping around when it comes to if you're buying an iPhone or if you're buying something else. You already made your decision. You even got excited that day. You put on your nice shoes and you went to the mall and you walked in ready to buy. That is ideal because that means you don't have to train your salespeople. You don't have to have salespeople. You just have people that can answer questions. And that's the goal of a valuable story. And then the last piece is, you still got to have people that could kind of, push people a little bit, right? You want to be able to push people a little bit to like help them because some people get fearful, right? If they see a good product or a service, they have uncertainty on if the desired outcome is going to be met for them. So you want to give them that validation. And that's all you need to do when it comes to closing deals going into the future. So we're going to teach people how to do all these three things, right? So create a valuable offer, create a compelling story, and we're going to teach people how to close. And we're going to do all of this by using ChatGPT. So once you have these three components in place and you use our system, Artificial Closers, you will be able to have the competitive advantage that you're looking for, whether if you're starting your own business, if you're a solopreneur trying to go to the next level, or if you're a big company just trying to maintain market share. So this is where we're at right now. We're really excited. So make sure you join this community, click on the link, and we'll get you guys started on the first step, which is identifying where you currently are now and how can we start helping you for the future. So thanks for watching this video. Peace.